Kayla, and you're listening to Dan Lupinski on the Dan Lupinski radio program.
Welcome, everybody, to the Dan Lipinski radio show. I am Dan Lipinski, your cordial host. Did you guys have a happy new year? I sure did. So, and happy birthday to Elvis. Rich, how many peanut butter banana sandwiches did you have?
9.
9. Wow. Real quick, I want to show you this picture. Sherry Davis sent me this. She was can you see that?
No, put it right in front of your face. Higher. There you go. That's too high. Can't see your face. There you go.
Oh, okay. Anyway, Sherry Davis, she's actress and director. We talked to her on episode number 2, and she sent me this real nice picture. And thank you, Sherry. And if you can, go on her IMDb page and check her out. She's got some stuff going on. And again, thank you, Sherry. You're a sweetheart. I really love the picture, and I'm always gonna remember you for it. So, man, it's cold outside. Man, it's 16 degrees, light snow. Man, it was bitter cold overnight, and man, I hope you're making it. And hope you keeping warm. So anyway, my guest today is Scott W. Perry, founder, director, producer, and writer at Slick Devil Entertainment. Scott, say hello to everybody.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
Very good, very good. So, so Scott, where are you from?
I am born and raised and currently live in, you're going to laugh at this, Amityville, New York. So that Amityville, yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, growing up in the 80s, becoming a fan of horror was not exactly the best thing to be looked at upon, teachers and guidance. I spent a lot of time in guidance offices going, okay, he needs to get rid of horror because it's just, it doesn't seem to be healthy for him, but when you grow up in a town, and I live a mile away from a certain house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it starts your interest very, very greatly. It was like the bravery test was to knock on the door and, try to enter the house. Most people just knocked on the door and ran, but I mean, it's interesting even to this day when I have people over, because I do some projects, I do some films, and I have meetings at my house. The first thing I get from people is like, where's the horror house? Can I see it? And I'm like, I mean, technically I've killed more people in my house than that one, but if you want to see that one, then that's fine, yeah. But yeah, Amityville, Long Island, born and raised, proud of it.
So you studied radio and TV at production at Suffolk County Community College?
Yeah, Suffolk Community. I actually got a job at MTV right out of it.
Did you?
That was in the mid '90s. So I went back and finished the associate's degree a few years later. But and I got an internship with MTV and VH1, and I got a chance to do a lot of grunt work, a lot of unpaid work. It was basically being a gopher, but this was 1996, 1997, so I'm kind of dating myself for a while. But the one thing I mainly did was I did the RuPaul show, which was interesting and fun. But I also did Total Request Live, handling the teeny bopper crowd at the time.
Uh-huh.
With all the boy bands, and I still have hearing loss to this day as a result of that.
I can hear you.
Yeah, but it was one of those things where I kind of lucked out right out of high school and got a decent job with it. I'd worked at MTV for about 4 years, but film was my main love. And the goal was to go to Suffolk for 2 years, get radio and television degree, and then go to NYU because I had been accepted. And about 3 weeks before I was supposed to graduate, I got a job at MTV. So, I got hired there permanently, and I chose to take it. So, 1 2-month internship turned into a 4-year job.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're doing an internship. You always hope that it turns into something. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and to be like 19, 20 at the time, and being a kid in the 80s and 90s back when MTV actually played videos.
Yeah.
It was kind of surreal to be that young, and it's like, okay, I used to watch this channel all the time. I was a big fan of rock music, and I go into Manhattan and I'm seeing them and I'm helping them and I'm escorting them, and kind of being their gopher for the day. That was pretty cool. It was a really, really fun time,
Yeah. Yeah.
and being young, it was something I probably didn't take as much advantage as I should have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you get involved in the horror writing and all that? How did you get involved in that?
Well, living in Amityville helped.
Right.
You know,
That's a
it was
plus.
always there. I have to give my brother credit and my parents. I say this a lot. My brother used to scare the crap out of me. He would be the one buying Fangoria magazine, and I would take a sneak peek at it at like 5 or 6. But my parents never had any. They never laid any boundaries. If I wanted to see a horror movie in a theater, they would take me. Because as I said, it's rated R,
Yeah.
unless accompanied by a parent or guardian. And
Right.
we had relatives who would always take us. I remember 5 years old in 1982 seeing Creepshow in the
Oh, Creepshow.
theater.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still can't watch that last episode with the bugs. It's the one thing
Yeah.
that
That's
creeps
weird.
me out.
That's
But
weird.
the one franchise they would never let me watch that they would always have an issue with was Friday the 13th, because that was always a little bit more graphic
Yeah.
than the others. So what my parents did was we went to a video store, and there was Tom Savini had a tape on special effects. So they had me watch that to show
Yeah.
me it was fake. And I got really entranced with it because I wanted to see how the magic was done. So when you're a kid, this kind of goes back to the first thing about Amityville. When I'm going to the guidance office a lot because I'm fast forwarding or rewriting all the death scenes in Friday the 13th, and I'm thinking, oh my God, he wants to kill people. Like, no, I want to see how they did it.
Right.
So I really got enamored with that. And when I got into high school, I took a vocational course in film and television and radio, and we did a couple of projects that kind of got started with it. And I just had a love for it and a knack for it, and I just kept on doing it.
That's cool. You want to talk about some of the films you've done?
No, kidding.
No.
No, I'm
Okay.
kidding. No, I mean, throughout the years, you do a lot of things that you can kind of look at now, and you're always your worst critic, and you kind of look, oh, I could have done this a little bit differently, a little bit that differently, but I'm at a point right now where it's like I'm proud of everything that I've done. The first short film I really did was 11 years ago, Unadulterated, which I did when I got laid off at a job. And there were a lot of people at the job. We all got laid off because we got bought out by another company. And
Right.
I took the check and I said, with this check, I'm going to make a film. Who's with me? Everybody's like, yeah, let's do it. Because we all talked about making a film together and trying to do it because we had nothing to lose. And then I went to go home and I'm going, how in the hell am I going to get this done?
Yeah.
And we did. It's a decent first film. It's not the greatest thing ever, but it set the tone for a lot of things to come. And getting that set for a few years, I did a short film that's on Vimeo right now called Insatiable, which is a silent vampire film, which is very hard. It was a very difficult film to do, but I worked with a lot of great people on it who have become good friends now and have also done a lot of great films on their own, part of a really good independent scene here. But doing all that really led to what became Fear of, which kind of has become my baby for the past 4 years, in a sense.
No, that's a web series you're doing, right?
Yeah, it's a web series. We have 2 seasons. The first season of 6 episodes is up on YouTube.com. It's like the show. It's under the username In Fear of Web Series. You type on that, you'll check out 6 episodes, and each episode, I've always loved Tales from the Crypt. Twilight Zone anthology series, and anthology is kind of making a comeback right now. It's more like a season form. American Horror Story is the best example.
Okay.
But I just love those half-hour to these little morality tales that really was what Twilight Zone and Tales from the Crypt was about. And I hadn't made a film in a couple of years. I didn't have a great experience. I mean, I had a great experience shooting it, but the post-production was kind of a nightmare on a film I did called Something Just. You know, I won't go into it because I don't want to give some certain people the time of day. But, you know, it didn't turn out as well as I'd hoped. The film came out good, but to get there wasn't the best to get through it. And I didn't make films for a couple of years. And then I saw this list called the Phobia List, and it listed these hundreds of phobias. And I thought this would be an interesting topic to start with the series. And I said, hey, this would be a good thing for me to start. And just looking at how different they are and how basic our fears are and doing a different way to interpret it was really what got me interested into it. And, you know, right away we made 6 episodes, you know, that I directed 3, and I had a couple of others direct a few others, but they were more experimental than anything. And that was for the first season. Our second season, we went a little bit more bold with it. And you could check that on Vimeo On Demand in Vimeo.com/on-demand/in fear of.
Yeah, I like the list of phobias you got on your webpage. It was like 20 of them that were listed.
Yeah, well, those are the episodes that we've done so far, and each one is different, and there's something for everybody. If you like horror comedy, if you like psychological horror, if you like slasher films, if you like 80s homages, if you just like straight up dramas, science fiction, you know, we there is everything there. You know, we leave no stone unturned.
Now each of these phobias you did a short clip on.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I directed 8.5 of them. You know, the half I co-directed with the legendary Debbie Rashan, which was a great episode because you know, it got my zombie film out of the way. Yeah. Because everybody has to do a zombie film. But that was a great one to do. And you know, I there's a lot of really good independent talent who've worked on some of the other episodes, from Thomas Norman to Bradley Crenzo to Robert Brodmerkel. Just a John Eklund. I'm trying to remember names. It's been a while, so if I forget anybody, they're gonna think I'm a shit. You know, okay. But you know, I know it was a really fun experience, just doing it all and getting it all together, and a lot of great friendships have resulted from it. And Tony DiBenedetto has been my partner on it, and he helped me out big time with it, as well as Bob. Steve Glassner DP'd about 16 of the 20 episodes with me. And you know, Steve's a little bit accident prone, so he finds a way to get hurt no matter what. Really? I swear he should have been. I keep on joking. He should have been made a Nerf because he breaks so much. Like, he'll find a way to get hurt. It's like you could have the most safety thing whatsoever. It's like he's got like a cut. He's bleeding. He's limping, and I'm like, "What the hell happened to you?" You know. And one time he slept in my guest room and fell off the bed and tweaked his knee, and I'm like, "You get too much." I'm like, you know, it's like we got to wrap you in bubble wrap or make you a Nerf or something. But
bubble wrap,
you know, but no, but he's got such a great visual eye and really helped out with a lot. And you know, it's been a great run. There's been a lot of great episodes, and anybody who's a big fan of Clive Barker's Nightbreed, and Bobby, who stars in Nightbreed, we hired for the agoraphobia episode, which is a pure science fiction episode. It's black and white, true Twilight Zone homage. You know,
agoraphobia, fear of leaving the house.
Fear of leaving home. And Robert Brodmerkel wrote it and directed it, and hit a grand slam with it. Frank Vlasic is great in it. Blaine Pennington, who I hired again, I will hire again in a heartbeat, was excellent in it. You know, Anne really liked the concept of the series so much, she wrote her own episode and produced it on her own, called Disposophobia, which is fear of being discarded, fear of being thrown away, and that one is based on hoarder syndrome. So that was really touching when when she wanted to do it so much, and has been such a great supporter of the series, and really made a really, really good episode as a result of it.
I mean, I tell you one thing. It's something what fear can do. I mean, it could just paralyze a person. I mean,
Yeah, it is. And ever since I've done it, it's so funny. I'm going to be at a film festival this weekend, and it never fails. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. It's my favorite film festival to go to. But ever since I've come up with the concept and I've gone to a lot of conventions, I have people who come up to me. It's like, first off, they expect me to know every single fear known to man, like I'm an expert on it. I'm not.
right.
It's not like I have an encyclopedia knowledge of everything, but they always come to me. It's like, I have a fear of this, I have a fear of that, and I think you should do this episode. I think you should. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And and then there's some who think, they get upset, like, oh, how come you don't know that fear? I'm like, well, because I'm sorry that I don't, but one of the rules that I had for the series is it had to be a clinical phobia that somebody suffers. And some of the ones that people have are just funny.
Yeah.
I'll give you a funny story.
Yeah.
There was one of the directors. He did a great episode, Fear of Being Buried Alive, Stolas Hadji Haralambis, and he pulled an April Fool's joke on me one time. And I had hired him for an episode that my writing partner and my friend PJ McElvain wrote, which was Fear of Being Buried Alive. And I didn't realize it was April Fool's, but he gives me this whole thing about how he can't do it. He's really sorry. We were about getting ready to film in about a week. And he's like, I'm sorry, I can't do it. He's like, I found something better because I don't want to do this minuscule series anymore and everything like that. So I went, okay. I'm like, I will have to do some changes. I didn't get mad, but I was like, all right, you got to do what you got to do. And then I'm like getting set, and I'm actually calling other directors, and I'm like, hey, I have an open for this. You want to do it? And then he calls me back. He's like, oh yeah, that was the April Fool's joke. And I said, oh, okay. I said, you realize I almost, I almost replaced you. And he's like, yeah, I understand. So then I waited a day. And I told him, and I talked with PJ, and I said, I just want to let you know, I talked to PJ, and she's really upset that you canceled. And she doesn't want you to do the film anymore. I said, but I still want you to be a part of a series. And she wrote another episode, and you have to agree to me that you're going to do it no matter what. Because she really hurt her feelings, and you have to make this up to her. And he's like, okay, fine. All right, fine, I'll do it. He's like, what's the phobia? I said, the phobia is phallophobia, and it's fear of an erect penis. And he goes, really? What says, why do I have to do it? And I said, because you will never, ever play an April Fool's joke on me again. So, but he did he really did a great job on Fear of Buried Alive. That was a very technical episode to do. It's very old fashioned horror. And we hired an actress who plays like the grandmother from hell.
Yeah.
Well, you got to see the episode on Vimeo on demand. You're going to love it because few things in life scare me. And this actor, her name is Parvati. She is such a sweet old, she's like the typical sweet grandma, and we turn her into this horrific, like, beast of a horrible, and she pulled it off so well. And I remember being on set, and we were all like, we were legitimately frightened just on the appearance alone. And
scary grandma.
you don't know the half of it. I mean, just being around her, and she's so nice, and I'm just like, you're scaring me. It's like, we're definitely gonna have nightmares that night. But yeah.
Like some candy, little boy.
Well, she used to. Her big tagline was like, "Come here, you little shit." So, you hear that like 30 to 40 times, it gets to you after a while.
Oh, sure. Like, was it glossophobia, fear of public speaking? That's gotta be a big one.
That's the zombie film that I did.
Man, I think the first time I got up and talked in front of anybody, every other word that came out of my mouth was and.
Yeah, I know somebody who does that a lot. So yeah, I do and yeah and like
Yeah.
we all have
And even if
yeah,
I'm
do it
not
now.
prepared, man, I'll stutter. That's Rich. I'll stutter.
Yeah, he stutters a lot.
Yeah. Well, everybody has that. I mean, there's a lot of people. I mean, I'm a lot of times when I'm at film festivals, I just stand in the corner. I try to mingle. I'm not the best in social situations, so and some
I'm
people
kind of
they
the same way.
they're kind of like, oh, he's a little bit standoffish. He thinks he's better than everybody. It's like, it's not that. I really don't feel too comfortable talking to a bunch of people. If I'm premiering something or if I'm screening something, it's a little bit different because I want them to like what I have. But even then, when I see like a group of like 150 people or so, and I got to introduce myself and do it, it gets nerve wracking after a while.
Oh, sure.
You know, because I'm really the type. It's like, just if you like my work, that's great. You know, I just want you to sit back, enjoy, and watch the work I do. I don't. Yeah, that's probably why I have Matt as my manager. He's a better promoter. He's a fantastic promoter, and
Yeah, he is.
and I'm not the type to be like, hey, look how great I am. I see that a lot in the independent world, and and some people, I feel like you still have to have some merit to do that. I still feel like I don't, so I try not to do it. But it's tough. It's tough to speak in any forum. It's tough. It's even before you get to do an interview, it's a little nerve wracking. You want to say the right thing. You want to make sure you do everything right. So yeah, it's one of the more common fears that we have. And it's something I think everybody can relate to. How we turn that into a zombie film, you're going to have to see.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. So
Yeah. And so now you're in Fear of Season 2 that's now available on Vimeo on demand.
mhm.
Okay.
$10 for the whole season, 13 episodes, 3 hours long. So you're pretty much getting two feature films. It's $5 to rent for a week and $10 to buy all 13 episodes, and $1 an episode. So can't go wrong.
And you're trying to turn this into a TV series.
Yes, we actually did a television pilot that we have shopped around festivals called the Red Balloon, and it's really a fear of clowns, which everybody hates clowns. I got to credit both. I got to credit.
I like the comic cover. I like that.
Yeah. I got to credit Tony DiBenedetto and Tim Powell really for getting this together because, they really, they really, really love the concept of In Fear of. I worked with them on an episode, Fear of Abandonment down in Texas. And they got everything together for clowns. We hired some great people. Mark Blitch and Jason Walter Vale wrote and directed it. Really, really solid professionals. Grace Powell, who's one of the brightest young stars in film, stars in it. We got Todd Terry, who had a recurring role in Breaking Bad as Hank's boss, DEA boss. He's in it. We had people from that show from Breaking Bad who helped on this pilot episode, and it's really a great little film, great short film, and really gets the structure of where we want to move forward within Fear of, because web series is great, but when you do a web series and when you do a TV episode, they're two different things.
Okay.
So we wanted to make sure we got the right people to do that, and we did, and they did such an amazing episode. We've won a lot of awards at many different festivals. I know we picked up Best Horror Short Film at Burbank International Film Festival. We won a Platinum Remy at the World Fest Awards in Houston, which is the same award Ridley Scott won for Legend 30 years ago. It's really we won awards in Oklahoma. We're going to be playing this weekend along with my other short film, Once When I Was Dead, at the Macabre Fair Film Festival out in Long Island, which is a great festival for anybody in the area to go to. For me, I love it because it's home. I also love it.
It's coming up this weekend, right?
It's coming up this weekend. We're playing on both Saturday and Sunday with a lot of great independent films, and it's a great time to go. It's a great atmosphere. You can check it out at macabrefairfilmfest.com. Adam and Elsie Ginsberg run it, and they do a fantastic job every year. I met them 3 years ago, and the majority of people I worked with on In Fear of are a result of that festival. But the people I work with, and it's a great, really great atmosphere. And if you're in Long Island, the New York area, come out this weekend and check it out.
Okay. Now you want to talk a little bit about Once When I Was Dead?
Yeah. It's the only the last 5 years, it's the only non-Infera project I've done, so it was good to do something different.
Now
But
you
when
won some awards for this one at that Fantastic Horror Film Festival in San
Yeah.
Diego.
Yeah, we won 4 awards: best short film, best editing, best supporting actress for Kaylee Williams, who's a great actress and one of my favorite people on earth right now. She basically, I had to say that, she forced me to. And best special effects by a fantastic, great special effects artist named Lisa Forrest. She is a force to be reckoned with. She's going to be one of the top makeup artists, effects artists in the world. She is just amazing, and she did some amazing effects work on this film. Everybody deserved their awards for it. It's a very personal film, and I think anybody who's an artist will understand. Anybody who's in any type of media, film, television, radio, and anybody who performs and they just want to get their best out there. And there are moments when your best isn't good enough, and you come to that point where you hit that plateau of what should I do next.
Right.
And this film is about an artist named Amelia who goes through that, and she's played by a great actress, Gabrielle Stone, and her demons pretty much come to light. And it's about it's about confronting your own demons and dealing with them head on and seeing what you have to do to avoid them. But sometimes finding those demons and confronting those demons might be good for you and might help you get to that next step. And that's pretty much what Once is about. I wrote it 10 years ago at a very dark time in my life, and it was one of those films I thought I would never make.
Yeah.
And when Tony and another artist who is an artist who kind of went through it, Shay Cully, she did a lot of the artwork for the film, and terrific artist as well. And Steve Glaster, who I mentioned before, he's also an artist. They understood the language I was going for with it. So they gave the authenticity that it needed. And, I remember when we were doing it, it was such a surreal experience, A, because I had been wanting so long to do it, and B, the demons that Amelia goes through were the demons I went through. So it was hard to see it come to life so real and so well. And anybody who has struggled through that will understand it. And I'm very happy because I was concerned that people wouldn't get it. And we won an award at World Fest as well. We won a Gold Remy for it, for best fantasy horror for short film.
Okay.
And we're playing at Macabre Fair as well this weekend. And it's a different type of film than anything I've done. It's a more personal film. It's a more cerebral film. It's a more complex film than anything. And I'm really happy that it's gotten the attention that it's getting right now, because I was afraid it wouldn't. And I'm glad that people really see for what it is, and people who struggle with it. And I've had a couple of people tell me, I struggled with it myself, and you really captured, how tough it is for an artist to get out of their own heads with it, and how they battle themselves a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah. This guy. I mean, look at Robin Williams. What kind of fears did he go through?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With his depression.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all go through it, and I'm not saying that I'm going to do that, because I really
no.
Because it deals with that. It deals with suicide in a way, and it never really got myself to think about it, but to do it. But once that thought does cross your mind, it gets you to that place.
Well, yeah. Well, what really hits you is like when you have idle time, and you talk about the thinking gets to you where everything may seem not right, but then you take a couple steps back. Well, everything's okay, but it was just the fears you create, you make mountains out of molehills,
Yeah, I mean, there's a little saying that's going around is that fear. If you take the letters of fear, it spells out the false evidence appearing real.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is
Or or
it's a good analogy. And
or f everything and run.
I
Or
haven't heard that one before. I
or
like that. I like
you
that one.
change those words and face everything and recover.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Once was really a film that dealt with that as facing your demons. The tagline for the film is to achieve your dreams, you have to face your nightmares. And you do in many regards, but what that film has done for me on a personal level since then, during it, before it, during it, the struggles to get it made after 10 years, the struggles of shooting it, seeing everything so personal to me come to life was difficult. To see what it's become and what it's done, for me in terms of what I'm doing with my career right now, it's amazing. It's really become a nice gift. And I couldn't. It's I'm so proud of that and in fear of that. For once, it's a different level because it's taking a very personal moment and showing it to people and sharing it with people, and the fact that people can relate to it and come back to it and say, yeah, I've been there.
yeah,
That's a feeling you very rarely get. And that's one thing that I feel really, really happy and fortunate to have worked with the people I have on everything, but also that people understand what it's about. And
yeah.
moving forward, it's moving forward, it's going to be a great ride as a result. So
So okay. You have any closing comments before we let you go?
yeah, watch my crap. Um no, no, I mean, no, thanks for having me on. If you're in, as I said before, if you're in the New York, Long Island area, check out the Macabre Fair Film Festival this weekend. Check out In Fear of on Vimeo on Demand. Also, our YouTube page, In Fear of Web Series. And, if you like horror, you like fears, you just want to be scared, entertain, laugh, enjoy my stuff. I love to entertain people. I love to, I love making these little films just to freak people out, entertain them, and I'd love to keep on doing it. And
What are your links where anybody can look you up?
well, our main one, you can check out infearoftheseries.com for everything on In Fear of. We're in the process of revamping it. We're going to add our TV pilot and add some information on what we want to do for the television series on it. You can also check me out. I'm on Facebook on Scott W. Perry. I practically live there.
Okay.
And for checking out the series, you can go to vimeo.com/on-demand/in fear of to buy season 2. And you can go to youtube.com/in fear of web series. That's one word, to check out season 1. And that's about it. I can also check me out on IMDb, where I have you can check out the films I've done and my demo reel as well.
Okay.
And for anything, check out Matt Chasson Management.
Cool. All right. Well,
All
Scott,
right.
thank you for being with me this
Oh,
afternoon,
it's a
and
pleasure. No problem.
much success to your TV series. I hope it goes
Thank you.
well.
Thank you.
And I wish you well with anything you do. And we'll keep in touch with anything else you got coming up in the near future too.
All right. I will. Thanks again for
Yeah.
having me, and you guys have a great day. Okay.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye bye.
Alrighty. Bye.
All right. That was Scott W. Perry, founder, director, producer, writer at Slick Devil Entertainment. Hope you enjoyed that interview. I am Dan Lupinski, host of the Dan Lupinski Radio Show. And when you're on YouTube, click on subscribe. And thank you very much for your support. And thank you very much for listening. And also go to karaokezone.com. That's where we're broadcasting from. The south side of Chicago, the coolest place to do
It's a little
podcast.
warmer today.
Yeah, a little warmer today. Coolest place to do podcast show ever here in Chicago. And go on there, look for Rich Munich. Say hi, Rich.
Hi, Rich.
And if you're interested in producing your own internet radio podcast show, just look up Rich, and he'll help you with that. So
I'll hook you right up.
I love how everybody's complaining about the snow. It's friggin' January.
Yeah, it should be.
It's January. It's
normal
supposed
weather.
to be cold.
how much snow did you guys get?
I got none. You know, some of the other areas around me got a little bit. We're getting that in a couple of days. So
We got about 3/4 of an inch over here, but it's real cold.
I know.
Yeah.
Within the last couple of years, the New Jersey area, man, they've gotten hit worse than we did. You know.
yeah. Well, I'm not from New Jersey, so I didn't
Thank
get
God.
it. I'll leave that alone. There's a lot of great people I know in New Jersey.
Yeah, I do too. So, all right.
All right.
Well, thank you all for joining me. Remember this: no act of kindness, no matter how small, is never wasted. So, you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. Have a great weekend, and we'll be talking to you soon. Take care. Bye bye.